Do you use LPG for cooking and heating in your van? Do you use gas bottles or refillable bottles? What would you do if LPG was phased out tomorrow? Well, that could be reality in the near future. In this episode of Motorhome and Campervan News. Hi, I'm Ads. You can find links to all the news articles in the video description. You've heard of the North Coast 500 route in Scotland, but there are many others being set up and promoted, including the Cumbrian coastal route, or the CCR 200. The CCR 200 has been put together with motorhomes and campervans in mind. Based on routes used by coaches, it takes in various locations, including nature reserves, castles and beaches. It has been recently expanded to include 2 loops which allow you to explore more inland. The additional loops take in Carlisle and Hadrian's Wall, the North Pennines and the scenic A686. There are also plans to add an additional loop. You can access the itinerary via the Visit Lake District website. I'll leave a link in the video description, but I found it slightly confusing. There is a ton of information, which is great, but there is no map with a route on it, or so I thought. After selecting a stage, it takes you to the itinerary planner with lots of info on that stage. At the top in big letters is the route and the distance, but I hadn't realised that there is a link there too, which takes you to a map of the route with driving instructions. Now this sounds a very interesting route, and I think we'll be doing it in the near future. The New Forest on the south coast of England is a great place to go camping. Surrounded by wildlife including ponies, cattle and deer, you can pitch up on any one of their huge campsites. However, they closed last year due to the 65-year licence agreement with the Camping and Caravanning Club coming to an end, which is why you've not been able to book a pitch since autumn. The good news is that a charity called the New Forest Agricultural Show Society has signed a 10-year agreement with the Forestry England to manage all 10 campsites. The first campsite, Setthorns, is now open and the rest will open on the 1st of April. To book a pitch, head over to the Camping in the Forest website, which will then take you to the Pitch Up website. According to the North Wales Chronicle, Gwynedd Council are going to trial overnight stays for motorhomes at 5 sites that they are calling Arosfans, which according to Google Translate means a stopover, which is to help tackle the illegal camping in the area. Each Arosfan will have space for 9 fee-paying motorhomes to park for a maximum of 48 hours and will include facilities for fresh water, chemical waste, recycling and general rubbish. No prices as of yet though. Here are the locations of the 5 Arosfans. I'd read them out, but I'd only mispronounce them and I'll either insult thousands of Welsh people or break my tongue. If they are approved, the 5 sites should be operational by this spring, and if the trial is successful, then more sites will be developed in the region. Now that's fantastic news, unlike this next item sent to me by Gillian and Tom. So thanks very much to them. If you have some motorhome or campervan news that you would like to share, then you'll find my email address in the video description. East Lothian Council has gained approval to introduce an 18-month experimental traffic regulation order to prohibit overnight parking at its coastal car parks. And why do you think they are doing this? That's right, it's the same old problem again. Campervanners and motorhomers are staying overnight in these areas and are ruining it for everyone else by dumping rubbish, lighting fires and barbecues, and leaving human waste. Now, you wouldn't like it if someone did it in your neighbourhood or your garden, so why do it in someone else's? It's just really got to stop. In other bad news, reported by Gloucestershire Live, motorhome and caravan owners have been warned by police of increased reports of people trying to buy their vans from their driveway. The Forest of Dean police have advised on the following. Fit an alarm and tracker, lock the coupling head into a cover using a good quality hitch lock, use locking wheel nuts and a good quality clamp on the wheels, secure each corner steady by using a good quality padlock and make sure it has a short shackle to prevent thieves from cutting through it, and use a strong heavy duty chain. And just in case this warning hasn't hit home, here's a clip of a motorhome being stolen and used to escape the police. You might want to put your tea down to watch this. This happened in Cumbrian, which is between Weston-super-Mare and Bristol Airport in October. The motorhome had been stolen and false plates were put on it and was used to ram an ATM. Just imagine if that was your motorhome. We'd be in bits. I recently had a comment on a video from Graham Forsyth about whether I knew anything about LPG being phased out. That was the first I'd heard about it, but I thought I'd do some investigation. Way back in March 2022, Motor Fuels Group, or MFG, provided a statement saying that they intended to replace all LPG autogas pumps with EV chargers by 2024. Now, you may never have heard of MFG, but they are the largest operator of filling stations in the UK. They operate stations for BP, Esso, Jet, Merco, Shell, and Texaco franchises. The reason for doing this, they say, is that the demand is decreasing and therefore so are their profits. For drivers running their cars on LPG, it's going to be harder to fill up, but there is still a large demand for companies converting cars to LPG fuel, so there doesn't seem to be much panic. So, what does that mean for us who are using LPG for cooking and heating in our vans? Well, for a while now there has been an LPG shortage, mainly due to the invasion of Ukraine, which means you may find it difficult to get your Cala gas bottle replaced. For those who use autogas filling stations for refillable tanks or bottles, there are other fuel stations not run by MFG around the country, and there are also companies who sell gas to industry which have autogas pumps that you can also use. But what's going to happen after they stop selling new petrol and diesel cars in 2030? I believe that we're not going to see a decline in petrol and diesel for at least a decade. There are many fuel vehicles on the road right now, and cars can last 10 years or more if they're looked after and the parts are available. As LPG is a byproduct from refining gas and oil, if the demand for petrol and diesel goes down, so will the production of LPG, but I think it will drop quicker than petrol and diesel, which is a shame because LPG is a greener fuel than the other two. And as for the rest of Europe, there are loads more autogas filling stations, but there are also more motorhomes to help with demand. So Europe might be okay for a while, but they are also most likely to decline at some point in the distant future. I don't think LPG is going to phase out as such. It's more to do with the supply and demand and profits around that. I think it will still be available, but will be harder to find beyond 2024. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Let us know in the doobly-doo. That's it for now. Thank you and goodbye.